Today, we're going to be trying to shove as much information about Refugee in the least amount of time.
He was on fire! He was? Huh? No! No! No!
I'm going to emphasize the word struggle throughout this video. Why? Because it's probably the most recurring theme. As you watch this video, you'll understand. So basically, on the back of the book, it says 3 different kids, 1 mission in common, escape. Now, this boy, Alan Gratz, he's smart. You'll find a lot more in common with these kids. Now, for the characters. Joseph is a Jew. In Germany. In Berlin. During the starting years of the Holocaust, basically, his dad is taken away for breaking a discriminatory law, and after 6 months, his family becomes super lucky, and they, including his dad, get to leave Germany alive within 2 weeks. His sister's name is Ruthie, his dad's name is Aaron Lando, and his mom's name is Rachel Lando. And I don't care if I pronounce that wrong. Note that they struggle as Jews. Isabel is a girl during the Cuban crisis. Basically, their prime minister is Fidel Castro, and he wants to keep his citizens during a stage of severe economic depression because the US said so. Note that the US was also the reason why they had to rely on the Soviet Union since they were embargoed by them. She's got a neighbor named Yvonne, who's a year older than her. Her dad's name is Geraldo Fernandez. Her mom's name is Teresa Padron de Fernandez. She's pregnant. Luis Castillo is the older brother of Yvonne, and he's a policeman. Yvonne's mom is called Senora Castillo, and his dad is Senor Castillo. Isabel's mom's dad, or grandpa, is called Lito. Mahmoud's in the ISIS crisis, and he and his buddy Khaled gotta stay invisible to not get bullied. His emotionless brother's name is Walid, and his baby sister's name is Hannah. His mom's name is Fatima Bishara, and his dad's name is Yusuf Bishara. Let's begin the story. So, Joseph's family goes on a train, and Joseph tries to fake not being a Jew to get a newspaper, but he gets exposed! The Hitler Youth kid that exposes him scolds him, but lets him go. What a lucky brat. Isabel's dad joins a riot, and this is what happens. I will use police brutality! No, please. Stop. Okay, you'll regret this. So now they have to leave or risk Isabel's dad's life. Mahmoud's apartment gets hit by a ballistic missile, and they decide that they'd had enough. They pack up their stuff and plan to head toward Germany. Joseph's family, now in the MS St. Louis, aren't struggling anymore. They're headed toward Cuba with some landing passes. They're fake, by the way, but they don't know that. Aaron Lando is now very mentally unstable, and he's struggling to cope with the horrors at his concentration camp, Dachau. Joseph gets nostalgia when he gets to a synagogue-like place in the ship and becomes a man. After it, he overhears 2 stewards talking about them possibly not being able to enter Cuba. Oh no! Isabel trades her beloved trumpet for a motorboat, and she struggles to carry the boat toward the dock. Her dad, now beaten, is also kind of in a mental state similar to that of Aaron Lando, though not as scarred. Take note, this is another thing in common. Some CNN woman interviews her, but they get on with their lives and go and try to escape Cuba. Luis and his girlfriend get on the boat, though the other police shoot a hole in their boat since police aren't allowed to leave.
Where are you? That don't answer. Where are you going, young man? Sit down! Sit down! Sit down!
Their boat now has a hole in it, though they patched it up. They sing a song, but then their struggles return. Their motor dies. Oh no! But hey, at least they have a poster of Fidel Castro on the boat. Mahmoud's family, now reunited, are traveling by car. They go to get out of Syria, but on their way, 4 soldiers stop them. They all hop in on the car, but oh no, people are shooting them. Their car breaks down because of damage, and soldiers are caught in a gunfight. Mahmoud's dad, Yusuf, goes to grab his charger, and his family then runs away to walk all the way to Turkey. When they get to the city of Kilis, they struggle to find a way out. But Yusuf finds a smuggler. Little did they know this smuggler is a scammer. Joseph and some kids get shot around the bridge of the ship by Captain Schroeder, and then Petty Officer Jockel takes them down to the engine room. Aside from minor racism from Shine Dick, a day later, all of a sudden, Aaron Lando hears about a guy who dies, panics, but then calms down when he realizes that he died from cancer. Maybe it was the Nazis that were so cancerous. Still struggling from the horrors of Dachau, though, at the funeral for the dead guy, things go bad. He and Joseph do some Jewish tradition, but then when Shine Dick tries to put the Nazi flag above the dead guy, Aaron Lando gets super mad. This is exclusive footage right after Shine Dick's story.
What's wrong with you, bro? What the heck? You tripping, bro? You tripping!
The 2 people get mad, but then Schroeder intervenes and now everyone's okay. Isabel's boat is now mortarless, and Lito begins to wish that he was back in Cuba. He talks about his life and how he told the Jews that they'd be in Cuba by tomorrow, and oh no, there's a tanker riot headed for them. Lito yells that they've drifted into the shipping lanes, and then Senor Castillo goes overboard. Everyone's panicking. Isabel goes to save Senor Castillo since she saw her own grandma befall that fate. Mahmoud's dad actually gets scammed like a boss by the boat smuggler dude, and they go to find some place for the night. This super slick kid that knows how to convince people shows them a mall for the night. He charges them $10, but it's a lot for Mahmoud's family, and they begin to struggle to manage their conscience. They keep on living there for a week, and they keep on getting scammed for a week, and Mahmoud screams as loud as a fighter jet one time they get scammed for the boat. Then these mean guys at the mall start to charge them 5,000 Syrian pounds a night each, and now so they're screwed. After meeting up with the car dealership couple, Yusuf gets a notification that the boat's ready. They go there, and the boat's actually there. Mahmoud's also going to travel by boat, just like Joseph. See how they're all related? The MS St. Louis is now a day away from Cuba, and people throw a party. A medical quarantine person comes in, and Joseph realizes that his dad's mental state may prevent them from getting to Cuba. Despite his struggles and woes from Daco, he slaps Aaron Lando harder than the winter in the Third Reich's face during their Russian campaign. His father gets owned by this and finally stops being super insane for a bit. When they try and leave the boat, a policeman says that they'll be in Havana the next day. Is this policeman Lito? After 3 days of policemen telling the passengers that they'd be allowed in tomorrow, Shindick and his bullies go and find Joseph. They trash his apartment because of Aaron Lando's earlier actions against the Third Reich. After the tanker passes, everyone manages to get back on the boat, but they lose a lot of their supplies. They bail water out of the boat for the rest of the night, but then in the morning, Lito spots up something bad. He quotes, "Red sky at morning, sailors take warning. A storm is coming." It gets bad during the storm, but then it turns out that a cyclone actually comes. It turns out that the boat is actually a dinghy and now they're screwed. They get charged 1,000 European pounds each. Wow. And they get on their boat. Midway, they hit some rocks and now people are drowning in the Mediterranean Sea. Mahmoud decides to give Hannah away to another boat, and now it's only him and his mom, and they can't find Yusuf or Walid. They're struggling to survive in the freezing Mediterranean Sea. Joseph's dad jumps off the boat because of lack of supervision, gets saved, and people celebrate. The Cuban guards tell them tomorrow they will be in Cuba like many days before. His dad is now trapped in Cuba, and the boat leaves the Havana harbor. Joseph's actually named after his mom's brother who died in World War I. He and all the other passengers go to the social hall where they are told that they'd be heading back to Europe since the US rejected them. Joseph then joins a group of people planning a mutiny. Their plan fails, Captain Schroeder gives a speech about the law, and then they agree for all the Jews to be sent to Allied countries in Europe. Belgium, Holland, France, and England all agree to keeping the Jews as refugees. Joseph's family is sent to France where things go well for a bit. After a big storm, Isabel's family gets blown to the Bahamas. They get a few more supplies from tourists, but then they're not allowed to dock just yet. Their struggles are far from over. More water leaks, and everybody becomes really sad. But hey, shout out to Fidel Castro is still going strong. They're all really hot in the sun. After some time just bailing in the water, sharks come. Luis uses his pistol to shoot them down, but Ivan gets wounded and eventually dies. They mourn his death, and then Luis kills another shark. They finally see Miami. It seems that finally their struggles are over. But no, the Coast Guard comes. They paddle for shore, and Isabel's mom is facing stage 3 labor of pregnancy. A bunch of people are dead because of actually fake life jackets, though Mahmoud finds some real ones. He and his mother drift out to sea, but then a Greek Coast Guard saves them, and it turns out that Yusuf and Walid are there too. When they get back onto the island of Lesbos, Mahmoud's dad tells them to find the shoes from the dead. They end up in a refugee camp and go to a ferry. They get to Athens and then plan to sneak across the border of Macedonia at night. It turns out that this doesn't work and they need a taxi. Well, they get scammed again and they then get threatened at gunpoint for 300 euros. They leave and join a riot against the Hungarian border defense. Tear gas is used and Mahmoud's family is separated and put behind bars for processing. Yusuf doesn't want to and gets beaten. His spirit is broken just like all the other dads. See how this is all connected? Alright, we're getting close to the end. Joseph's in France, and oh shoot, now the Third Reich's here. They break into their home, and his mom sacrifices all their money to save Ruthie from the Germans. Teresa gives birth to Isabel's baby brother, and they all abandon ship to escape the Coast Guard. They're successful, and they're on American soil before the Coast Guard finds them. Everyone on the boat lives with Ludo's brother and Isabel's 6th grade. They lived happily ever after! Mahmoud's family is transported to a refugee camp where they end up with no food after a feeding session. Mahmoud sees that there's UN people there surveying the camp. However, through all of his struggles, Mahmoud doesn't give up. He sees an opening and just walks through like a savage. He walks to Austria, and then he and his family seek asylum in Germany. There, Mahmoud goes into the home of an elderly couple, which is, plot twist, actually really old Ruthie and her husband. See how this is all connected?